baby, you got my mind messed up now. Little girl, you sure got my mind messed up now. I go to bed, Lord, and I can't sleep. Sit down at the table, ooh, Lord, I can't eat that. Somebody please help me now.
James Carr was an American R&B and soul singer. He had a certain amount of success in the late 60s with a Memphis-based indie label called Goldwax, which included releasing 2 albums. His career was spotty and intermittent, possibly somewhat connected to the fact that he suffered from bipolar disorder. He did manage another couple of albums in the early 90s before he died in 2001. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was James Carr's first album, and it's my first encounter with him. I'm not sure I've even heard of him before. I didn't know what to expect when I started this up to listen to. My general method of working is that I do 2 listens to an album, and my first listen I'll try and avoid reading up or finding out anything about the album or the artist before I do my first read. Of course, there are some albums where I already do know something, and then I dig in deeper and then I do a second listen. So in this case, it very much was a blind lesson when I first listened. And I was pleasantly surprised. It's definitely, I call this soul and R&B and that kind of stuff. It's very much like you might expect of, let's do some name checks, Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, and possibly James Brown before he went funk. So there's some faster songs, there's some slower songs. One of the songs, just to kind of peg where this is, definitely reminded me of In the Midnight Hour, which was Wilson Pickett, I think. And it's that kind of band that you might imagine with a brass section and occasional bits of organ and guitar and bass and drums going on. It's an album in the true sense of what albums were when they first started, which is that it started out as being a succession of relatively successful singles, and then they were collected together as an album. But that's actually 5 of them with these singles and the 12 tracks on the album. So it's expanded from that. Apparently, some of these songs are relatively well known. They're not written by James. But he's definitely put his own twist on them, I would say. So his voice as a soul and R&B singer is pretty much perfect for it, I would say. He's got a lot of growl to his voice, which gives it a lot of good oomph. He's not scared of going for it and really kind of emoting in the music. It's kind of this is the 60s version of emo, I would say. He's really going for, the feel for this. It's music that would not seem out of place in a jukebox in a retro film of the right kind of era. So actually, I'm surprised that this isn't better known, or maybe it's just me that I don't know this. Possibly he's not kind of hit the big time in terms of the big names because of a lack of career consistency and a lack of output through that. But it's definitely a very solid album of soul. I found it very accessible, and I would say for anyone who's actually a soul enthusiast, this is probably an essential album to get hold of. So, yeah, I pretty much liked it. And as always, I'd love to know what you think, or any thoughts or reminiscences you have about this album or James Carr or anything that's related. I want to know. It's great. I love it when people talk to me. So that's what the comments box is for down there. Please use it. And that's it from me for now.
At the dark end of the street, that's where